When you're with women, you're doing all this nice stuff in order to get something from her. Usually it's, sex and affection. And when she's not giving you what you think you're owed because of all this awesome, nice stuff that you're giving to her, right? I gave her everything. That resentment builds and you start acting out. You start acting out in various ways, and she's completely confused. She's like, I don't know why he's acting out like this, because we're operating from a thing called a covert contract. What's a covert contract? I'm glad you asked, internet man. It's basically where you're expecting something. You're expecting love, sex, or loyalty in exchange for your labor, right? You're doing you're taking the trash out, you're washing the dishes, you're doing chore play. How many of you guys believe the internet where the women are like, oh, when he's mopping the floor, it's just so sexy, right? It's it's complete. Women are happy to use that stuff, this nice kindness, to take advantage of it. Because why? Because women are opportunistic. They're opportunistic by nature. Okay, they're wired to take advantage of all the kindness that you're giving them, and then but they don't necessarily feel like they owe you. And they don't inherently owe you anything. So when you're doing all this nice stuff, expecting something, it builds resentment. How many of you guys out there have gone out on dates and spent lots of money on a date, and then the girl like blew you off, ghosted you, or at the very least didn't put out, and you felt slighted? Like, hey, I paid for all that lobster dinner. I flew her out here and she didn't even put out for me, bitch. There was a couple of years ago, there was a video I found on TikTok. A lot of the guys that follow me, like OG guys that follow me, it's because they put out a video on TikTok, like being really upset by something like this, like a covert contract. There was a guy, he went viral because he was like drinking. He was drinking like whiskey, and he's like, I spent $300 on this girl just to show her a good time. And basically she broke his heart, like ghosted him or whatever. And it's like, guys are doing that stuff. You're spending a lot of money trying to impress a girl. And then when she's not impressed and she blows you off, you're pissed off at her for it. That's why I say, don't do that shit. Women need to earn that kind of stuff. Okay. You have to have that mentality, right? That's a covert contract where you're doing something with an expectation and she's not aware of the expectation. I often joke with my girl nurse chick, because she tunes into this stuff, and she might ask me something, hey, do you mind doing X, Y, and Z? And she'll ask me, and then I tell her, I say yes, but I expect sex. I'm like, because this is and then as I'm doing it, I'm like, this is a covert contract. I expect sex, but I'm clearly articulating that, so it's not really a covert contract, right? But we're just joking about it. But these subconscious patterns, they develop in childhood. They develop in childhood. If you actually read Dr. Robert Glover's book, and I give him full credit for this in the book, and there's a reason why I list different books within my books. It's because I want to give credit where credit's due, for one, and two, I mention them a lot because I want you to go out and read those books. Okay, I don't want you to just read my books. I'm not selfish like that, right? I didn't just come up with this shit, right? I learned this from mentors and some great minds in the space. And I give them constant shout outs through the book because I want you to read this stuff and then go and study this other stuff and really internalize it. But one of the things that Dr. Glover talks about is how we're going on several generations of nice guys now. And it started back in right after World War II. And when, boys stopped, growing up on farms around, men like their dads and their uncles, and they had all this masculine influence, and their dads started working in the factories 17-hour days, and boys were left being raised by women. And bless women's heart, right? Like, women are doing their best. They're trying their best. But a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. They just don't know how to do it. And the thing is about women is that they're very emotional creatures, right? So what's great about having a man around, for both men and women, or for both boys and girls, is having a dad in the house, is that dads are very sort of logical, right? So we have rules. We have very strict rules. As long as you don't violate the rules, you're going to be okay. And that's an easy way, especially for little boys, to understand where the boundaries are. thing is about women, because they're emotional, a lot of times they don't feel like enforcing the boundaries one day, but they feel like it another day. So little boys get confused and they're like, I don't know what the real rules are, because some days my mom doesn't care if I do it, and other days she's pissed that I do it. All I know is that I got to walk around on eggshells trying to make mom happy all the time. And so what boys learn is to be people pleasers, right? If I just make people happy and I'm nice enough, then I'm not going to get blowback and yelled at. Well, that carries on into the relationships, right? That creates a subconscious paradigm of how you interact with people. That's why people, they're afraid of conflict. I put out a video the other day talking about guys who say, oh, I don't know if coaching's right for me. I need to talk to my wife first, or I got to get permission from my wife before I can do coaching. And I'm like, one, your wife has no respect for you if you're in a dead bedroom situation right now. So do you think that you're going to get that permission? You're going to get that go ahead there, pal, that sign off on fixing this? No, if this is your problem and she has no respect for you, you need to make that decision for yourself. But man, there were so many guys in the comments that literally said the same thing. They're like, oh, well, if I'm telling you I have to go talk to my wife, it's really just an excuse, and it means that I want to avoid conflict, right? And I'm like, that's why you're in a dead bedroom situation right now, because you're avoiding conflict by trying to be nice and not hurt feelings. You're walking on eggshells around everybody. That's nice guy syndrome. The thing is that when you're doing everything right, that doing everything right, it still leads to rejection, is because it doesn't build respect. And if you guys don't understand this, relationships, even romantic relationships, are a power dynamic. It's a power dynamic. One person's operating in the other person's frame. And the way that romantic relationships between men and women work in just an effortless way is when you're operating in your masculine and you are setting the tone and leading the relationship. That's why I say there's no such thing as, she's not your partner, right? Get that out of your head right now. She is not your partner. You're the captain. She's your executive officer. She wants it to be that way. Even if she says she doesn't, at a subconscious level, she wants it to be that way because that's nature. She wants to follow your lead. And if she can't follow your lead and you're constantly trying to make her happy all the time, and you're doing all this nice stuff so that she's not mad at you, and then you're basically like making her letting her make all the decisions because you don't want to upset her. Now she's up here and she resents you for it, and she has no respect for you, and that's why it leads to rejection, because the power dynamic's off. She didn't leave you because you were a bad guy, okay? She left you because you weren't being authentic, right? A lot of the things that nice guys do is a lot of the things nice guys do. Hold on, what did I write down here? Oh, okay. I see how I wrote that. A lot of the things that nice guys do, they don't actually want to do them, right? But they're too afraid to set boundaries and say no, right? These guys will always be available to help their wife's sister move, right? Oh, hey, Bonnie needs help moving and you got the truck. Do you think you can help her this Saturday? And you're like, I was going to hang out with the boys this Saturday. I was going to watch the game this Saturday. I don't want to upset the wife, and I certainly don't want to upset Bonnie. So yeah, hon, I'll go do that, right? The thing is, they're upset that they think that they have to do it, okay? You don't have to help Bonnie move. It is absolutely okay and acceptable to say, no, hon, I got plans. No, Bonnie's going to have to find herself a man to help her move. Bonnie's going to have to hire movers, right? I'll give an example of this in my relationship, and it's not bad, and I don't fault Nurse Chick for asking this sort of thing, but my dog died this year, right? My dog died back in January. And as my dog was getting older and stuff like that, like one of the things I love the shit out of that dog too. But one of the things that was kind of a burden when you have an animal like a dog, right? Dogs are very much like children. They need someone around to watch them, especially if you don't have like a dog run where they can't get out. But I think people that just leave their dogs in dog runs all the time, I think that I kind of look at that like it's animal cruelty. Personally, that's just me. Whatever, if you do that, okay. But dogs need care, right? Cats don't. Cats, you can leave a cat for like 3 days and they're fine. In fact, Nurse Chick and I will go for a week and my cats are fine. My boy cat O'Malley, he basically what he'll do is he's funny because if I'm not around for a couple of days, he just says, "Oh, this, I'm out." And he'll just be gone. And so when I get back after a long trip, It's usually about 3 days before I see him. And then he comes walking back in and like almost like he realizes that I'm back and stuff, you know. My girl cat, she sticks around the house. She doesn't like to wander too far, but my boy cat, he's like, this. I guess he's dead, you know. And but as long as they have food and water, like the cats are fine, right? But dogs aren't. Dogs need people to care for them. And so whenever I wanted to go out of town or go on a trip, or if I had to for business, I had to leave my dog with my parents, and I didn't want to be a burden on my parents by having to leave my dog. So one of the things that when Nurse Chick got her dog Spoon, and I love the shit out of Spoon, but when Nurse Chick got her dog Spoon, she asked me if she could get this dog, which I love. I love that she respects me enough that she's going to ask my opinion, but she doesn't live with me full time. She comes here every other week and she stays with me for a week. And so at least out of respect, she asked my opinion on it. And I told her, I said, yeah, I mean, and that's up to you. It would be your dog. I go, but if we go on trips and stuff like that, that's going to have to be your responsibility. You're going to have to find a sitter for Spoon. And I think at one point last year, or I can't remember, Nurse Chick and I go on trips. She asked me, hey, do you think your parents could watch Spoon? And I said, hun, no. I'm not going to ask my parents to watch your dog. You're going to have to find someone to watch your dog, you know. But it's okay to say that. And Nurse Chick, I think, respects that I am very strict with that boundary. I'm not gonna make her dog my parents' burden. I don't even like making my dog my parents' burden. You understand? It's okay to say no. And actually, women will respect you more if you do that. Now, they might try to manipulate you and you know, play sad and do the crying thing and shame you and all. Just hold your ground, okay? Because if you give in, they lose respect for you. And then you've done everything right and she still leaves, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't let them walk all over you. It's okay. I'm giving you permission right now. It's okay. She didn't leave you because of that last fight, bro, right? It was about the man you became long before that. And the worst part, you didn't even know you were sabotaging your own relationship. Let's talk about what that looked like so you don't repeat it. But before we do that, guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm trying to build up my X account. I'm going hard on X, okay? So if you're not following me on X, get on there. The links are in the description, okay? I'm at Come On Man Pod on X. And guys, if you haven't done so already, grab the ebook. Fine. Here's how you get her back, especially if you've gone through a breakup and you know you need to move on and you can't stop thinking about getting her back. I'll show you how to do it, but I'm also going to tell you why that's a terrible idea, okay? Grab that. It's the first link in the description. And then, boys, if you're in the wolf pack, drop them. Drop that Too Sweet, baby. For the love of God, somebody too sweet me. Beer club anymore.
Cold bed, broken home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need logs, lies. We step inside the back. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack, drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
For the love of God, somebody too sweet me. This Saturday, Brother Dan from the Wolf Pack, he was a former prison guard, and after studying all this stuff and reading my book and all that kind of stuff like that, he realized, holy shit, I have hostage negotiation training that can be applied to relationships. And he was talking about it in the chat. He's like, man, after reading all this stuff and about Luca, he's like, man, there's this other framework that I learned as a prison guard that can be applied when having conversations with your wife. And I was like, do you want to do the next private pod class about that? And he's like, fuck yeah. So this Saturday, Brother Dan is going to break it down. And if you guys don't join now, you're going to miss it. You can join right now with a 7-day free trial. Go to wolf.comeonmanpod.com. And Brother Ray from the Wolf Pack, he dropped that Too Sweet, baby. $10 super chat. Let's give him some titties.
Thank you for the super chat. Movies bouncing, cast off that east to the west. You are the best. Keep those chats coming in. Let's do it all again.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.